Hello and welcome to our webinar of Beaten Experiences in Vienna. I'm happy to have you here. My name is Marsa Kindl-Omuse. I am the marketing manager at the Austrian Tourist Office here in New York City. And I am very happy to welcome our guest speaker for this webinar. This is Tom Bachinger from the Vienna Tourist Board in Vienna. Tom, are you here?
Yes, hello everyone. Greetings from Vienna.
Hi, Tom. Wonderful. Good to hear you. I think we should immediately hit it off. This webinar will be about 25 minutes long, and Tom will go right into some really cool experiences that many of you, I'm very sure, have not heard of yet. And so please, Tom, you please start presenting. Thank you.
Thank you, Marsa. Yeah, hello everyone again. My name is Tom. I'm based here in Vienna, working for the Vienna Tourist Board and taking care of B2B relations for the North American market. And in this webinar, I will tell you about experiences off the beaten track in Vienna. But first, I would like to remind you of the qualities that make Vienna so special. My beautiful hometown is a destination suitable for every kind of traveler, as Vienna offers a great mix of different components, such as the imperial heritage. The Habsburg family ruled out of Vienna for more than 600 years, and you can still find the traces in Vienna's great palaces nowadays. Vienna is also the undisputed capital of music, especially classical music. In no other city, so many composers used to live in the past, and still nowadays, people flock to Vienna to study and work in the music industry. Every night, about 10,000 people can listen to live classical music in famous buildings such as the Musikverein and the Vienna State Opera. And you might have heard that in 2020, Vienna celebrates Ludwig van Beethoven's 250th birthday, as he used to live and work most of his life in Vienna. Vienna is also a great city for art, culture, and long traditions. Over 80 museums invite to explore the old masters, but also contemporary art. And the Spanish Riding School and the Vienna Boys Choir mix more than 400 years of history with today's Vienna. Viennese cuisine is the only cuisine in the world that is named after a city. And again, history has it that our cuisine was and still is influenced by the many people that moved to and live in Vienna. And last but not least, Vienna is a very green city. Half of Vienna's area is green space. There are plenty of inner city parks to escape the crowds, but also the Danube, the Green Prater, our vineyards, and the Vienna woods. In my last webinar, I talked about Vienna's city center shown here. The yellow line marks our beautiful Ringstraße or Ring Boulevard. This used to be the city walls, and 150 years ago, they were destroyed and the Ring Boulevard was built. Within the Ring Boulevard, you find the inner city or the first district. In the middle is the red icon for St. Stephen's Cathedral, our major church. Vienna's old city is very compact and rather small, so walking from one side to the other takes about 25 minutes, and one round on the Ring Boulevard, which is 3.3 miles long, takes about 1.5 hours. And the good thing is, you have all the major sites lined along the Ring Boulevard. The Vienna State Opera, the Imperial Palace, the museums of fine arts and of natural history, the parliament, the city hall, and the university. Belvedere Palace, which is the yellow dot at the bottom right, and the Prater amusement park with the giant Ferris wheel, the yellow spot on top of the right side, are only a quick ride away with the subway. So this is Vienna's main touristic area, but today let's escape the inner city and look at some experiences in other Vienna neighborhoods. I already mentioned that Vienna is a very green city. The Vienna woods with the Leopoldsberg and the Kahlenberg, the vineyards, the Green Prater, the Danube with the Danube Island, and the Old Danube are the major areas to escape the crowds in the city center and spend a day in the nature. And the best thing is that all these areas can easily be reached with public transportation. The Vienna Woods are located in the western and southwestern part of Vienna. In an area spanning more than 500 square miles, the Vienna Woods provide a habitat for numerous plant species and animals. Also, the Vienna Woods contain a network of 12 marked walking and hiking paths, the city hiking trails. They offer a total length of 150 miles and take you to cozy inns, wine taverns, and beautiful lookouts over Vienna. In case you have more time in Vienna, there is also the Rundum hiking trail. This translates to all around hiking trail. This 75 miles long hiking trail encircles the city of Vienna and can be tackled in 24 easy to manage stages. Along the ways, there are shelters and inns to spend overnight, and also make sure to collect your stamps at 5 stamping points to receive the official Vienna hiking pin afterwards. Also, there are professional hiking guides in Vienna that can join you on your adventures and create the perfect routes and itineraries. But if you do not want to miss out on culture and sightseeing in the Vienna Woods, head to the Hermes Villa and the Lions Game Reserve. These 2,500 hectares used to be the imperial hunting grounds in the western part of Vienna. Visitors can experience a unique natural and cultural landscape with an enormous diversity of animals and plants. While hiking through the reserve, you may see wild boars, stags, or deer crossing the path, or, with some luck and patience, you may also observe woodpeckers, salamanders, and bats. 6 forest playgrounds offer fun for all the family. The Forest and Nature Trail can educate you about the Vienna Woods, its history and its plants and its animals. And there are also carriage rides as well as tours and excursions dedicated to various topics like wild herb hikes, bats, bird songs, and more. Make sure to stop at the amazing Hermes Villa, shown here on this picture. Emperor Franz Joseph once gave the villa as a gift to his wife, Empress Elizabeth, as a palace of dreams. It was his way of trying to get his travel-keen wife to stay in Vienna more often. The romantic mansion dates back to the 1880s, and its name derives from the statue of Hermes in the villa's garden. With its sumptuous furnishing, the building is considered one of the outstanding examples of villa architecture of the late Romantic period. The best artists of historicism, among them Gustav Klimt, designed the private imperial chambers. An exhibition on the first floor shows the history of the building and its occupants. Many personal objects of Franz Joseph and Elizabeth, as well as original furniture, convey a sense of the imperial lifestyle of the time. Another must-see in the Vienna Woods is the Church of St. Leopold, also known as the Steinhof Church. It is an architectural masterpiece designed by Otto Wagner and built in the 1900s. It is the first church of the Modernism period in Europe. The copper-plated dome can be seen from afar because the church towers over the entire complex of the former City of Vienna Psychiatric Hospital in the city's hilly western suburbs. Wagner also designed most of the interior fittings, from the luminaires to the pews and the altars. Outside and inside, he harmonized its practical purpose. How many people have an unobstructed view of the high altar? How is the building to be cleaned? And more. Many of Otto Wagner's artist colleagues collaborated on the project, including Koloman Moser, who created the glass mosaics for the windows. Another green area of Vienna that is mainly used for recreational purposes and sports is the Danube and the Danube Island. The Danube Island is 13 miles long and was built in the 1970s to regulate the Danube River. Nowadays, it is Vienna's largest recreational area with beaches, sports facilities, and numerous areas to escape the crowds, to enjoy the sun, and to swim. In addition, there are cozy taverns and inns to grab some food in case the hunger kicks in. The Old Danube is Vienna's huge still waters. There you will find a lot of public swimming pools, especially popular amongst families, sailing and rowing schools, and boat rental stations. In summertime, classical concerts are taking place on the boats, and once a year, a huge fireworks says goodbye to the summer in the end of August. Close to the Danube and the Danube Island, you will find the Green Prater, which is 5 times larger than New York Central Park, with numerous meadows and ponds to relax, areas to do sports, and the main alley for jogging, riding the bike, and even horseback riding. Austria's most popular attraction is Schönbrunn Palace, the summer seat of the Habsburg family with its extensive park. Most of the visitors are doing a guided tour at the palace, but a rather less crowded attraction in the park is the Palm House. It is the largest of its kind on the European continent and houses dozens of Mediterranean, tropical and subtropical plants, including a 75 feet tall palm tree and the largest water lily in the world with a leaf diameter of 4 feet. How about visiting Vienna's beautiful Central Cemetery? When Vienna grew into a city of more than 1 million inhabitants, the old cemeteries of the various districts became too small. To accommodate the growing capital, the Central Cemetery, with an area of about 500 acres, was opened in 1874. Nowadays, guided tours take you to the resting places of famous European composers and politicians. You can rent bikes and horse-drawn carriages to explore the silence, or take part in one of the guided night tours that run during wintertime. Since 2014, the Funeral Museum educates about the cemetery and Vienna's fascination with death. One thing not to miss when in Vienna is to taste Viennese wine and explore Vienna's vineyards. Vienna is the only capital that grows enough wine within its city limits to make it worth mentioning. 700 hectares of Viennese vineyards leave their mark on the cityscape. Wine growing has a long tradition in Vienna. White wines are grown in around 80% of the vineyards, with the Wiener gemischter Satz or field plant being a specialty. And, as you can see on the picture, the vineyards offer beautiful views on the city of Vienna. In summertime, vintners put out chairs and tables directly in the vineyards. The food, the wine, and the view are a great reward after hiking up the vineyards. Viennese wine and the vineyards are part of Vienna's cuisine, and so are the typical bistros or taverns around the corner, which we call Beisel in Vienna. A Beisel is a typical Viennese dining establishment. Down to earth, cozy, and traditional, it makes its mark on a booming restaurant scene and offers authentic Viennese cuisine. The term Beisel probably comes from the Yiddish word bayis, meaning house. The classic Viennese bistro has a spacious bar where wine is chilled and beer is poured, dark painted wood paneling, simple tables and chairs, and a mixed crowd. The kitchen is dominated by tradition. Soup with pancake strips or dumplings, schnitzel, goulash, and tasty pastries such as Palatschinken and Kaiserschmarrn set the tone of the menu. Shown here on the picture is Gasthaus Ubel in the 4th district near the famous Naschmarkt. Its menu includes Wiener Schnitzel, roast liver, beef shin, and blood sausage, making the bistro one of the most authentic of its kind. Another hidden gem when it comes to food in the Naschmarkt area close to Gasthaus Ubel is Alma Gastrotech, where 2 industry newcomers are at work in the kitchen and the cellar, making their dreams a reality. Fine cuisine, an inviting design concept, and friendly service make Alma everybody's favorite spot in the middle of Vienna's trendiest quarter, away from all the buzzing city center life. In summer, a nice patio invites guests to enjoy Alma's absolute signature dish, the tartines. And for drinks, Alma focuses only on natural wines that are grown and produced in the vicinity of Vienna. I just mentioned the Naschmarkt area, and some of you might know that Vienna still has 22 local markets, which offer true Viennese everyday life and typical Viennese shopping experiences. This is where Vienna reveals its multicultural side. Viennese humor blends with Eastern European charm and Oriental flair with Mediterranean temperament. There is hardly anything you cannot get on the markets of Vienna, from fruit, vegetables, and flowers to Persian caviar, from Japanese sushi to Indian tandoori chicken, from doner kebab to oysters and meatloaf. Vienna's markets are in season throughout the year, reflecting the charisma of the city at all times, but they are more than just shopping. They are the lifeblood of the districts they serve, attracting a young, creative, and lively scene. Naschmarkt in the city center is the most famous one, but usually very busy during the day. If you are already out and about exploring other parts of Vienna, make sure to stop at the Kutschkermarkt, which is the last remaining street market in Vienna. Farmers from the surrounding area who sell the regional products here, often of organic quality, are among the ranks of the fixed market booth. The products on offer are extremely varied and of very high quality. Here and there, florists create a colorful market scene. At all the markets, gourmet tasting and food tours are offered by different suppliers, so that you do not need to find your own way through all the extensive culinary offer. From food and drinks and Viennese cuisine, we jump to Vienna as an art and cultural city. As mentioned previously, numerous museums display paintings of the old masters and art galleries feature contemporary artists. But you can also auction and buy art in Vienna, for example at the Dorotheum, one of the world's leading auction houses and the biggest in Central Europe, which resides in the Palais Dorotheum directly in the city center. It was established in 1707 by Emperor Joseph I. About 600 auctions in 40 specialisms are held each year. The highlight are 4 large international auction weeks in the main art and antiquities areas. Other auctions regularly offer designs from the 1930s to the 1950s, as well as classics of Viennese modernism. Open to the public are the Dorotheum Jeweler and the Dorotheum Gallery, which offer an extensive range of items at fixed prices, ready to buy on spot. So if you want to take a precious souvenir home from Vienna, make sure to have enough time to stroll through the Dorotheum's numerous showrooms. Contemporary art can also be found in Vienna's streets, for example at the Kunsthaus and the nearby Hundertwasserhaus. Colorful areas, irregular forms, many grown over with lush green plants. This is how Viennese painter Friedensreich Hundertwasser, who died in the year 2000, encouraged new impulses, and therefore created the Hundertwasserhaus in Vienna's 3rd district. Opened in 1991, the Kunsthaus Wien houses a permanent Hundertwasser exhibition on 2 floors, and 2 additional floors are devoted to changing exhibitions. On the ground floor, there is a cafe, restaurant, and a shop. These 2 highlights of contemporary architecture are definitely a must-see in Vienna. So from the outside art to the inside art, which everyone knows, the snow globe. If you're looking for an original and traditional souvenir from Vienna, then ask for the original Viennese snow globes. These glass globes, with their lovingly created winter landscapes, have enchanted people for over 100 years. The largest selection can be seen and bought in the manufacturer's Snow Globe Museum, while selected pieces can be found in many souvenir shops in Vienna. The Viennese Snow Globe factory resides in one of the old suburban houses in Hernals, one of the city's outer districts. Around 200,000 pieces are produced here every year and supplied to customers around the world. Company owner Erwin Perschi III constantly comes up with new motifs and is a passionate inventor, like his grandfather, who invented the snow globe. The recipe for the artificial snow is a well-kept family secret. Pretty much any figure the customer wants can be built into the snow globe. Apart from special orders, there are numerous standard models. Typically Viennese are the giant Ferris wheel, St. Stephen's Cathedral, and Vienna City Hall. When walking along Maria-Hilfer-Straße, Vienna's longest and most popular shopping street, make sure to also turn into the side alleys. Behind a very unnotable door, you will find a nearly totally forgotten world. The K&K Hofmobilien-Depot, literally Imperial Royal Court Furniture Depot, is a unique museum that shows how the imperial families used to live. Among the many thousands of exhibits amassed over 5 centuries, with special emphasis on Biedermeier and historicism, one also finds a Baroque easy chair on wheels, an imperial travel throne, and praying stools with velvet pillow covers. The depot stored the furniture of the Habsburgs, kept it in good repair, and distributed it to the imperial households when required. But still nowadays, several of the objects, cutlery, and silverware are used at state receptions in Austria. Guided tours explain the court ceremonial, show red carpets, and the emperor's tableware. The Haus der Musik or House of Music is an interactive sound museum located in the center of Vienna, which provides a new approach to music on a playful as well as scientific level. It provides an overview of the history and tradition of Viennese classical music, but guests can also interact with sounds, noises, and instruments. But on the first floor, you will find the Museum of the Vienna Philharmonic Orchestra, whose founder, Otto Nicolai, also lived here. The history of the world-famous orchestra is now presented at the site where it all began. Otto Nicolai established the orchestra with the unique sound in 1842. Usually not accessible to the public, you can have a guided tour to the historical archive of the orchestra and explore original documents such as the founding document, letters of various composers, old program booklets, or the very first picture of the orchestra from 1864. If you have music lovers amongst your clients, make sure to offer them this once-in-a-lifetime experience. But they also can explore the collection of ancient musical instruments located in Vienna's Imperial Palace. Step back in time and marvel at the worldwide most important collection of Renaissance and Baroque instruments. The museum keeps, maintains, and presents numerous instruments that were played by famous musicians and composers, including Leopold Mozart, the father of Wolfgang Amadeus Mozart. Nowadays, only a few people are trained and allowed to play on some of the instruments, and private concerts or tours with the curators can be organized. Also located in the Imperial Palace and lesser frequented than other parts is the Austrian National Library, but definitely worth a visit. The former court library was created in the first half of the 18th century as a private wing of the Imperial Palace. The State Hall, the heart of the Austrian National Library, is one of the most beautiful library halls in the world. It is almost 270 feet long and 70 feet high and is crowned by a dome that is magnificently decorated with frescoes. More than 200,000 books are exhibited here. Among them, the comprehensive library of Prince Eugene of Savoy, his statue is shown here on the picture, as well as one of the largest collection of Martin Luther's writings from the Reformation area. Last but not least, if you're tired of sightseeing, then spend a relaxing day in Vienna spas and enjoy the wellness treatments. Some of the old spas are also architectural highlights. Shown here, the Amalienbad, with its Art Nouveau and Art Deco elements, is one of the prettiest of Vienna's indoor pools. So how to explore all these areas, museums, and attractions outside the city center? The best way is with the Vienna City Card and by public transportation. Vienna's public transportation system is very easy to use, and the different trams, buses, trains, and subways take you to most of the spots in Vienna. The basic version of the Vienna City Card includes public transportation for 24, 48, or 72 hours and discounts in numerous museums, attractions, shops, and restaurants for a maximum of 7 calendar days. You can then enhance your card with either a hop-on, hop-off tour with the sightseeing company Big Bus, with airport transfers, or with both of them. The Vienna City Card can easily be purchased on www.viennacitycard.at or, when in Vienna, directly at one of our tourist information centers and at most of the city's hotels. And the Vienna City Card can also be purchased in our newly launched app called Ivy, your personal Vienna guide on your smartphone. The app for iOS and Android casts familiar sights in a new light, provides secret tips, and has a whole bunch of curious stories and quirky anecdotes in store. Themed city walks and handy information for everyday urban life are also part of the digital city and travel guide. Ivy presents Vienna's diversity from a new perspective and inspires you to experience the city full on. Because Vienna is packed with surprises, as you have now seen in my presentation. I hope that you learned a lot of new experiences, attractions, and museums that are waiting for you in Vienna. Thank you very much for your attention.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Tom. These were really fascinating tips. Some, I have to admit, I haven't even visited, so I will make sure my next time I'll visit you in Vienna, I will come by and we'll explore them together, I hope. Can you hear me, Tom?
Yes, sorry.
Perfect. Yeah, I was shortly not sure that I'll be heard. So this was it for us. Again, as always in my webinars, we're here for you. On the top, I've listed all our main URLs for you to remember or take note. The first one is a site where you can find some fantastic Austria itineraries, including, of course, Vienna. The second URL is our B2B site, where we have under the category Our Services and Educational Videos, you find many, many more webinars and short videos about all different kinds of destination, of course, including more about Vienna. Then again, here my email address, and on the bottom you have the most important websites and contacts for Vienna. Again, Tom's email address, feel free to reach out to him if you have any more questions. And I thank you so much and hope you will have a wonderful rest of the day.